volcanic rock, and a lot of ash. We are definitely not in Australia. I'm in the Fort Everest and I don't know exactly where I am, but I'm pretty high up and we've come a long way. I'm in the Philippines, a stunning collection of islands in Southeast Asia, and this is the spectacular lahar beds of the Pampanga province of the island of Luzon, to be exact. After flying into Manila, we headed around 90 kilometres northwest to the Clark Air Base, but it took 5 hours in the crazy traffic. This is an adventure. We're driving 4 Ford SUVs, the Everest, Explorer, Escape or Cougar, and the EcoSport. First up is the rough and ready Everest. It's 4-wheel drive time and we set off towards Mount Pinatubo, but the area has a dark past. In June 1991, Mount Pinatubo erupted and it was the second largest eruption of the 20th century. It spewed out around 10 cubic kilometres of ash and sent avalanches of gas, mud and rock as a cloud of volcanic ash spread through the sky. 847 lives were lost as surrounding villages were buried. The local community is recovering and the lahar beds that were up to 200 metres deep have been eroding as water cuts through, creating valleys and amazing 4-wheel drive trails. Monsoon and typhoon rains cause giant mud flows of ash and volcanic material known as lahars. It's a unique type of mud, a surface unlike anything I've ever driven on. It's a little stickier than mud and you have to maintain a speed of 30 to 40 kilometres an hour or you will quickly sink in the sandy mud up to mid-door level apparently, and that's not a position I want to end up in. That being said, it is great for getting a bit of a drift on. There's been a bit of rain recently, so the water is flowing down through the valleys. It's like Jurassic Park or Avatar. The Everest 3.2-litre 5-cylinder turbo diesel engine produces 143 kilowatts and 470 newton metres. That's teamed with a 6-speed automatic transmission and full-time 4-wheel drive. And it's doing a great job of pulling us along, and we're working through the off-road modes of the terrain management system as we need them. The Everest shares its architecture with the Ranger and it was developed in Australia. It's also the first of the new range of nameplates to arrive in Australia as the company transitions away from local manufacturing. Making our way up the riverbeds, it's a remarkably comfortable thing to be bumping along off-road in. There's no modifications here. Even the 20-inch alloy wheels and Bridgestone Jeweler tyres are standard. It has independent front suspension and a new rear suspension setup, a solid rear axle with Watts linkage to limit lateral movement. It has a lockable diff and low range with hill descent control. This is the top-of-the-line titanium spec, complete with sunroof. Everything we need to really have some fun out here. Next up is the Ford Explorer, and the cool thing is that this is the first time I've ever driven this. We don't get it in Australia, and unfortunately we're not likely to. This 7-seat family hauler is massive and quite stylish. Luxury finishes and plush leather seats even in the third row, and it's perfectly at home off the bitumen too. We're heading to Green Canyon Eco Resort, the first eco art resort in the Philippines. It's at Bamban, only around 10 kilometres from Clark Air Base on the edge of the city of Angeles. The Explorer is very popular in the US, available with a 3.5-litre V6 or a 2.3-litre EcoBoost engine. The Sport and Platinum trim levels have a twin turbocharged 3.5-litre 6-cylinder EcoBoost engine, 272 kilowatts and 474 newton metres, and this pair are only offered in 4-wheel drive with a 6-speed automatic transmission and paddle shifters. We're driving the Sport. It's got sharper steering and stiffer spring and damper tuning, perforated leather trimmed seats with red stitching. Along with visiting the Eco Resort, we wind our way through villages along narrow roads lined with kids and little street stalls. To get a glimpse of yet another side of the Philippines, the Escape is next. This has been known as the Cougar in Australia, but that changes come model year 2017. It'll get a fresh new look too. The idea is that we are escaping from the hustle and bustle of the city and heading through farmland and villages to a new modern community called Lakeshore. It's far too hot to use the heated leather seats on our top-spec titanium, and after battling through the manic traffic, we finally can relax and enjoy the drive. There are 2 main modes of public transport: tricycles, which are small motorbikes with sidecars, and jeepneys. Jeepneys are hand-built and customised to reflect the owner's personality. You also don't want to get in the way of them. The Escape is a spacious and comfortable medium SUV and not a bad size for navigating the narrow roads. It has a 2-litre EcoBoost turbo petrol engine that produces 178 kilowatts and 345 newton metres and a 6-speed sports automatic gearbox. It packs the punch we need to escape the city. The steering is light and direct, it's all-wheel drive, has torque vectoring and great body control. The ride is a little firm, but it has a sporty feel. The final leg is in the EcoSport, Ford's compact SUV, and this is a bit of a race through the outskirts of town to experience the local culture firsthand. We head out of town to the Mega Dyke Access Road. The road runs along the top of a wall built to help protect the city from the volcano. Filipino lantern making is a Christmas tradition, so we stop in to have a go. Let's just say it's better left to the fabulous locals. The EcoSport wear-in is the flagship Shadow variant, a little different to the Titanium with a blacked-out grille, dark wheels and black side mirror covers. It's got a 1.5-litre 4-cylinder petrol engine with a 6-speed sports automatic transmission. It produces 82 kilowatts and 140 newton metres. With the day heating up, the next stop is a relief. Hello, hello, that means mixed together, is like a milkshake / dessert made from ice, evaporated milk, sweet beans, coconut, sago, fruit and more. It's a local tradition to have one every afternoon. It may not look pretty, but it tastes amazing. Finally, we stop in at a local market to look for souvenirs and pick up a crate of coconuts. Perfect for a fresh cocktail at the end of a busy couple of days. From cities and highways to villages and country roads, we've taken these 4 SUVs everywhere we possibly could, through the tiniest narrow streets, crowded with children, other cars, jeepneys and bikes. Pretty manic stuff. The EcoSport, the Everest, the Cougar and the Explorer. What an absolutely amazing couple of days.